Alright, it's been a long time, but I'm back to the trade recaps. We are back on, and trade recap here of how I made 2380 in a couple of minutes. You can see here. It's been a long time that I've done a trade recap, and the reason for that is simply because March has been so cooked. March PA has been the worst PA that I've ever seen in my entire life, or in my time that I've been trading. Let me just go to this. March was so chopped, it was so cooked, like it was crazy. It's probably because of everything that was happening in the world and that's happening in the world. But still, March was just so bad and so choppy, low frequency, got nothing, and it was actually a very low win rate month for me. Negative performance in March, by the way. So yeah, March was pretty cooked, but still did get payouts, which you can check on my Instagram and stuff. But let's get into this trade here. So this trade was pretty like everything was A plus, to be honest, besides one thing that we'll get into, but everything else was A plus. You can see that high time frame, everything is just trending upwards. 1 hour time frame, same thing. Everything is just trending upwards. Pretty, easy to see that it's bullish. What happens then is even more clear. Is we retrace back into this gap right here. We retrace into this bullish gap and then have a strong reaction right out of it, right? So we have a strong reaction right out of it, and so from that also an SMT at the lows, which is why I'm on MES. M&Q had, MES had the leading asset, and so everything was looking pretty clean. The next, high time frame fair value gap was right here, and so my draw on liquidity was New York highs. I could have targeted London highs right here, but I was a bit more confident targeting New York highs. I could have potentially done London highs as well. Like we can put it in. I was just a bit more confident in New York highs getting hit. Eventually, London did get hit as well. So, honestly, I could have like put in a runner. I mean, not a runner. I could have like kept something there. I could have potentially targeted higher, but I was just much more confident targeting New York just because London was a bit out of this gap. So yeah. But let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. You can see that everything is just moving nice in a trend, higher high and higher lows. Everything was pretty clear that it was bullish. Everything is just going highs just everywhere. But in the 15-minute time frame, I did have one thing. Was that if you just look here, you can see that there's a very big 15-minute gap that we are bearish gap that we are in. Like I can put this, put that. That is the 15-minute bearish gap. Go back to here, and that 15-minute bearish gap is quite massive, right? It's covering like a big part of my TP. You can see, boom to boom. So it's covering about like 0.62 of my TP. It's covering. So it's a pretty big 15-minute gap, but just because of everything else, the way the market's been trending higher, and then I go internal time frame, we have SMT, the lows, retracement, and then we have a continuation higher. We had a bit of chop here. You can see a bit of chop. This is like just on market open. We have like this chop. So I did wait for price to get out of this choppy zone. Like right here is the choppy zone. From like that to that, this right here, price is just chopping through. So when I did see that confirmation closure above the chop, that's when I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna enter this trade. Everything is A plus besides that 150-minute, pretty big 50-minute gap. But besides that, everything is A plus. SMT, everything is too clean for me not to take, like everything is A plus. I'm confident, but am I confident in London highs getting hit, especially with that, big 15-minute prominent gap? No, not really. So that's another reason why I did not target London highs, which just came to me right now. So yeah, this was the trade itself. I did go break even at this, which was 8:30 a.m., which was data highs. A lot of people targeted this. For me, this was just chops. I wouldn't target that, but this was data highs. I did go break even right there, and then after break even, with this trade, okay. So well, on Project X, it was much more close. It was like over here, but with this trade, I did manually close it over here. And the reason for that is because we did edge the TP. It doesn't look like we edged the TP on Tradevate though. It looks a bit cooked on Tradevate, I ain't gonna lie. This does not look like an edge at all. This is quite a lot of points. But on Project X, which is where I actually took the trade on and which is where I was looking, we did edge it. So I did, what? Is this how you do it? Hold on. 2.75 points. Not really an edge, but like basically on Project X, it was just much more closer. It was like all the way here in Project X. It was like boom. It was like somewhere here in Project X. And that's where I took the trade off of. So yeah, next time maybe I should actually check on Tradevate as well, because Tradevate does look a bit choppy. But either way, my partial position was here. So over here, I was alpha partial profits. Partial profits. So I was alpha partial profits there. So that is why when it was much more like, it was all the way here, by the way, on Project X, when we did hit that and then we started to come lower, I just kind of had the discretion to understand, okay, like this is just like, I can't be bothered if it goes all the way down here and just, I just get like a 0.5 R win. Instead, I'll just take it off there. So when I did see that price wasn't about to hit this draw, wasn't going like that, which, the entire time it was going pretty quickly and it wasn't going nicely, and we kind of just edged this, I just manually closed, got out of the position. And I am thankful that I did that, because eventually we did actually, hit my point where I was going to take off the partials anyway. So I was going to lose, or I was going to win less anyways. So completely fine with that, completely fine with, the TP being hit eventually over here. Completely fine with that, simply because we were going to hit this anyways. And also, like, closing here, I could avoid it a bit more, but honestly, it was just discretion and just market experience. Like, when we're just traveling this quickly, like, we should be able to hit the prominent draw New York highs as well pretty quickly. And if we like try, and if we like go close to it and then start slowing down and then start going down, it's like, okay, I just can't be bothered, price hitting me for partials. I'll rather just close and lose like the 100 per account, whatever it was. I'd rather just lose that instead of losing like 300, 400 all in R terms, instead of losing like 0. I'd rather just lose like 0.1 R or 0.1 to 0.2 R instead of losing like 0.2 R or 0.3 R or 0.5 R, since my partials is normally 0.5 R, losing 0.5 R just because I didn't close there. So I'm completely fine with doing that. And besides that, that was the trade, April, second trade of April, second win of April. So far April's going pretty cool. So hopefully we can get a payout soon, or payout soon, because we have multiple accounts ready. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, I did make a video on that should help you. So go check that out. By the way, it is once again 1:21 a.m. So I'm kind of a bit cooked here. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed that.